Hey everybody, welcome to DKTV. I'm Wade McElwain, the Sports Ambassador. Hey, joining me, Jamie Hinks and Edo Delamonte. It's golf time. And you're thinking, Wade, what is this on you? Oh, Canada, my home and native land. It's time for the Canadian Open. That's right. The land of beauty and the land of boring is hosting the Canadian Open. I can say that, I'm Canadian. It's a really boring place. It is, but it's lovely. Before we get into that, guys, let's talk British Open. Was that not one of the best British Open endings you've seen? Jamie, tell me about it.
I think it was the best ending in a major championship I've ever seen. That final round, they were just going hammer and tongue for the whole day. Stenson was 63 in the end, which is
it's even shooting a 65 though for Mickelson.
Yeah,
you gotta be happy with that.
Well, yeah,
like,
he was.
Thought, you're going to shoot a 65. You'd be amazed.
I think you knew that. I mean, I thought he was going to win it on the Friday. I was like, he's going to win this, but you kind of knew his luck wasn't in when that one was on the lip. When he would have got a 62.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, oh, maybe it's not your time, lefty.
I don't know who. I mean, Edo, you won. You actually won with 364 points. To my 359.5. I did choose Phil Mickelson in my lineup, however. What did you find about this? What did you find about the course or about the tournament? It was an amazing match.
Oh, it was phenomenal. And I mean, you're really happy for Stenson. Even Stenson on Friday night couldn't quite believe. You know, he said, this has happened so many times. I've come so close so often. And you could there was a rueful grin. And when you saw Mickelson ahead on Friday, you thought, yeah, Mixter. And it's only afterwards. And you're kind of really happy because, Mickelson is still a legend no matter what. He really wanted Stenson to finally get over the line. Sergio Garcia, of course, would have been another one. But
even Sergio and Rory, they're still in the top five. They're still placed in the top five. I mean, Steve Stricker, fourth place, 49 years old. Phil Mickelson, older guy, but a lot of people have written him off, and I'm sure Tiger is sitting there rehabbing himself, who used to have a rivalry with him, going, shit, he's still in it, like he's still he's still playing good golf.
Another one that interested me was JB Holmes came almost out of nowhere, came third. He was only 2.6% owned in the Millionaire Maker, which is. If you have him, and Stricker as well was like 5%.
Do we know how much? How was Stenson? How many percent was he?
He was it was around 10 to 15. So, but I mean, you had like Dustin Johnson was 30%.
Yeah,
and like there's going to be people who are going to be really pissed off with him and that may have a bearing this week.
It could have a bearing this week.
Not picking him,
although he is the number one value. So we're going to talk right now Canadian Open. I am from Canada. I'm actually going to be in Canada. Not for the Canadian Open, I'll be there for the CFL and some other stuff. But we're going to Glen Abbey. We're going to Oakville, Ontario. I don't know if you know Oakville, for people who can't afford a house in Toronto and don't want to live in Mississauga. Oakville, the thing by the lake. It's Glen Abbey Golf Course. I was telling these guys about my being banned from it. Par 72, 7,230 yards, and great win last year. Jason Day won it in dramatic fashion. Good tournament. RBC obviously pays a lot of money. They're a big bank who probably has your mortgage. And without their backing, it would be nobody there, probably. But it's a big money tournament. So, guys, we're going to find in for DraftKings. 6 players, 50,000. Who is on your lineup? Who are you putting in this week? I'm going to ask these guys. Start with Edo. Golfer number 1. Who you got, Edo?
A man I dream about at night, Emiliano Grillo. Oh, Emiliano. 3 top 15s in 4 tournaments. Was absolutely sensational in Scotland. Extremely accurate. Is actually hitting fairways. Even at Troon, he was hitting fairways 78% of the time, which I thought was ridiculous. I mean, he is known for his accuracy, but this was something else. There is also a lack of elite competition. Someone did basically say that without RBC, this would probably be a glorified web.com tour. Not super accurate. There's loads of sort of quite good players in here, but it is still quite open except for Day and Johnson. Already after Day and Johnson, you got Cooch, you got Snedeker. They're not exactly necessary, they're not, home runs necessarily. So yeah, I really like Grillo. He's only shot 4 rounds this year of 76 or above. So even if he does not super well, he'll still come in the 40s. So he's at 8,500. I think it's a reasonable price.
Up and coming Argentinian, and as you say, a lot of people are doing it for the money. Why do you go to Canada? For the money. That's right. That's where I'm going. Jamie, first pick. Who do you got?
Okay, first up, Jim Furyk, 9,900. Won the event back-to-back in 2006, 2007. He seems to absolutely love this course. I'm not sure why. Fourth last year, exactly. As you say, Canada's very boring, so he's a boring man. It kind of all fits. His form's okay right now. It does worry. The thing that worried me about Furyk, I thought he was quite expensive, but I also thought that US Open second that he had is almost the exception to the rule in terms of his form. His form hasn't been he hasn't been setting it on fire, but I thought at a course where he loves it so much, he's definitely going to do well. And he also was tied fourth for the fewest number of putts at Troon last week, and I think putting is going to be, if you can putt in one or two here, you'll win. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting weather in Canada as well. The forecast, I believe, for Saturday is 100% chance of rain and Tim Hortons coffee. But no, it's going to be supposed to be a wet and humid weekend, as Toronto generally is, and this area. So we'll go for my first pick. I'm going to go with an American. First time coming to Canada. Bryson DeChambeau. You know, because Canada, obviously, we're bilingual, so we're allowed French as well. And he sounds like a French vacuum cleaner. Bryson DeChambeau. He's made 9 out of 13 cuts, 1 top 10, 54.4 points a game. I think he's one of these guys who's suited to making the top 20. I like him. He's the scientist, a skilled golfer. I've chosen him before. His figures have been up and down. 8,100, Bryson DeChambeau on my list. Edo, golfer number 2.
Roberto Castro at 8,400. He missed the US Open, did really well at Barbasol instead. Came 11th there, as he did at the Memorial. Lost the playoff at Wells Fargo. So he's in pretty good form at the moment. He's got a bit of a boom and bust quality about him because he can also just barely make the cut and not really be worth that price. I think he will here. He's quite good at par 5 scores. He's got, out of his last 6 tournaments, he's managed to actually gain 9 strokes on par 5s, and on a couple of occasions. His driving accuracy has been really good as well, and that'll be important here. I mean, not hugely important. You can still be a bomber and do well here, but if you can actually control it, you'll see that people who have good stroke play will generally tend to be in the top 10. And yeah, maybe the frustration of not making the US Open because he's had quite a good season, and then you miss that and you go to the Barbasol. I mean, no disrespect to the Barbasol and the Barracuda, but I mean, you probably want to be playing Troon. So I think he's at that kind of price. Once again, he was right next to Emiliano, and I thought another Hispanic sounding name, even though he's American. But yes.
Well, yeah, it's 2 Spanish sounding guys already, huh? Well, Edo just likes to throw off his accents, huh? Part of it. Jamie, who have you got for your second pick?
Matt Kuchar, 10,600.
Oh, the Cooch.
Cooch. I toyed very long going with Jason Day, but he's so expensive. He's a level above these guys. And I think Kuchar has the tools to do well here. He tends to do well on courses designed by Jack Nicklaus and Pete Dye. This is a Nicklaus course, but a lot of his PGA wins have come on one of those courses. He's 13th for total putting. Also, greens in regulation. The last 6 winners have ranked 7th, 1st, 5th, 29th, 18th, and 7th. So getting someone inside the top 30 for that, I think, is going to be what you need. Kuchar's 33rd for greens in regulation this season, but I don't think that's a disaster, given his past form here is tied 7th, tied 4th in the last 2 years. He'll make the cut almost definitely. Whether he wins, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to put him in my lineup.
Big money, big pick. As you said, there's a few guys in the top kind of money that you're looking for. Are you going to go for the top money guys, or do you go for someone, maybe you got a little heart for, maybe you got a little Canada in for, maybe you go for David Hearn, like I did. My number 2 pick, 7,900. He's from Ontario, just like me, just where the course is, and he's been in the top 30 the past 7 of his 9 starts. And also, he came in 3rd last year. So I like David Hearn. I'm going to choose Canadians on my team, being a Canadian. Patriotic. Is it dumb? I don't know, Wade. Is it dumb? David Hearn on the list. Don't screw up, because I will hunt you down, because I will be in Ontario. Edo, 3rd pick.
Kevin Kisner at 8,300. He's been a little up and down of late, but he's done well at a smaller tournament like Dean and DeLuca, where he came 10th, and you've got the WC Bridgestone performance, where he tied for 16th. Yeah, a little bit boom or bust once again, but with the potential to win. This is the kind of tournament that a player of Kisner's range can actually go out there and ace. And he's got solid par 5s. I've gone for solid par 5s of almost all of my players. Not necessarily maybe top of the range, but with, there'll be at least 76, which is where Kisner is, because those are important here. Holes 16 and 18. You can actually are par 5s, when a lot of people are saying, well, these kind of should be par 4s, because you can get to the green really quickly. Eagle opportunity. He's great at eagles. He's 27th, does really well at birdies, 33rd, 31st in putting. So he does have the actual overall game to go out there and win this. So 8,300. I've gone for a lot of those. I normally hate the 8,000 range. And in this tournament here, I'm actually a big fan of it. Not so much of a 7,000s for some reason. But here, guys at this price, yeah. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, there's some interesting pricings going on with some of the 8,000, some of the 7,000. You're like, really? Hard in the value. But Jamie, what do you got for your third? Who are you pulling in?
The pricing's really interesting this week.
It is, yeah, it is interesting.
William McGirt. Dirt McGirt. 7,700.
McGirt.
He's another one who loves it here at the Canadian Open. I'm not sure if he's also boring like Jim Furyk, but maybe we'll maybe we'll find out when he wins and he gives his winning speech. Runner-up in 2012 and 2013. He's now actually got a PGA win under his belt as well, so he knows how to win, which was this season, and only 7,700, so snap him up.
Snap him up indeed. Hey, I love that. You're talking, people are like, Wade, hey, you're an international sensation. Thanks a lot. I like international sensation, which is why my third pick is Kyung Tae Kim.
Oh.
What? 7,400. This guy is a Korean sensation. He really is. He's been ripping up the Japanese tour. He actually tied for 53rd in the British Open. He hasn't really played as much, but in North America, I really like this guy. He's played really well in Asia. He's one of those really effective shooters. And although there's some controversy because he pulled out of Rio because he wants to have another kid, little advice, buddy. If you want to have another kid, you don't pull out. But you're on my team, 7,400, Chung Tae. The name. Does it come up here? Don't think so. But don't say it really loudly and really quickly in public because it sounds offensive. Kyung Tae Kim. But yeah, Kyung Tae Kim. I can't say it properly, but he's on my list. Edo, number 4.
Matt Kuchar, completely agree with you, 10,600. There's a thing about it is that last year you were talking about Jason Day and Dustin Johnson going, to the wire. That's actually the exception, having the big guns actually swing by and win this tournament. Normally it will be slightly lower ranked players. He's been so consistent here. Kuchar's, had second, fourth, seventh place in the last 3 years. And yeah, as you mentioned, Jamie, there's the fact that he's really good at those pad thai courses. I think that's key. And he's been so consistent of late. He's been just naggingly consistent, even having a really bad weekend in Scotland, where he shot 75 and 76 to close out the tournament. He still managed to come 46th. So you can look at that and think, aberration, links golf. This will be simpler. The greens will be not as difficult to reach. He's got the kind of control. So I think, before I was saying that he wasn't a big gun, as in a traditional big gun, but I think he can come out and win this. I just really like that value. I think he will be a very popular pick, however. So maybe, if you want to be a bit contrarian, go for someone else. But I love you, Cooch.
You're going in for the Cooch. Both of you guys put the Cooch on fire. All right, Jamie, 4th pick.
This is the first and only Canadian I'm picking.
Oh, come on.
I tried to get to it.
Thanks for Canadian content. You have to get Canadian content.
Right. Adam Hadwin is 8,700. Which may be a shade high because he's Canadian. He's playing at the Canadian Open, but I didn't care. I had to have him in my life.
He was a good Canadian.
7th in total putting, tied 7th a year ago. He had a cut last time out, but before that, 7 good finishes in a row. Tied 11th at the Memorial. He's Canadian. It might be from Oakville. I don't know. Pick him.
Thank you very much for that rousing endorsement of my country, Jamie. That's very good. Adam Hadwin, yes, a very good golfer, and also Canadian, and also hopefully on the Canadian Olympic team. I'm going to go with my 4th pick. You go, hey, Wade, who is your Canadian you're choosing? Well, it's Graham DeLate. What? Another Canadian, that's right. He shaved off the beard, and he shaved it off before the Barbasol Championships, which is fitting, isn't it? You shave before going to Barbasol. He's from Weyburn, Saskatchewan. Where is that? Look it up on a map. I've been there before. I've told jokes in that town, and it's a really good place to get chased out by an angry mob. But the good thing is, after he tied for 8th in the Barbasol, he's shaved off his beard. I think losing the beard will get him that extra weight in Oakville. He'll deal with humidity. He's averaging 57.4 fantasy points per game. He's only 7,500, a little cheaper than your Adam Hadwin. But Graham DeLate, the beard is off. The game is on. You're on my team, Graham DeLate, on the list. 5th pick, you get 6 golf for 50 grand. Edo, who's your pick for 5th?
I was really scared by Graham DeLate shaving his beard off. He looks like he's been
I was very tempted to pick him.
He's got meth face now. He's got like really. You see when the beard's off, you're like, ooh, that's a face at meth built.
Interrogated.
Not that he does meth. He's golf.
This is why I don't shave my beard off.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm worried about what's underneath.
Oh.
What lies?
You're like an onion, so many layers, Jamie. Let's peel you one day.
Like the sun's already doing that.
I was going to
Yeah, the
say,
sun-
it's like 50
sun's-
degrees
yeah.
today. It's already doing it to me.
It's already doing its job on you. All right, get your fifth pick. Who you got?
Hudson Swafford, 7,000. I'm quite excited about this guy just because he's 8th in driving distance, but unlike a lot of the, he combines the two, sort of the driving distance and accuracy really well, because you go up to the top of driving accuracy and you see players who are maybe not such good hitters. He is 69th in accuracy. There's one exception at the top of those rankings, and that's Stenson. He doesn't hit it far, but he's an elite player. Otherwise, there you'll find, like, the Russell Knoxes, the Colton Nosts, all good players, but not maybe. And I think Swafford can have an elite tournament here because he missed 4 cuts and then has had 7 made cuts in a row, including 21 at Quicken. Really good statistical profile. So he's actually 18th in shots off tee, 22nd in GIR, pretty decent at eagles, average in sand saves, which is actually quite important here. I think Swafford at that kind of price, you look at it and you go, that's too cheap, because he's had a few tournaments where you've gone, oh, look at him on Friday, he's looking really decent. And for 7,000, if he comes top 40, I think that's a really good investment. I think he can do better than that. So yeah.
Cool. All right, fifth pick to Jamie.
It's Johnny Vegas time.
Oh,
yes.
7,300. I haven't picked him for a while, but every time I pick him, he never does anything to persuade me. Never pick me again. 5th in GIR, 70%, over 70% actually, and tied 4th last week at the Barbasol. I think he's got the tools to do well at $7,300.
I think Oakville could use little Vegas, and Jonathan Vegas would be the best, because there's only so much you can do at Sharky's nightclub on the beach. And it's so many 905 girls, and if you're from Canada, you know what I'm talking about. All right, here's my fifth pick. What? Let's go. Let's dig deep into the bag. Let's dig deep into the bag and pull out Chad Campbell. What? Who? What? Former Ryder Cup champion. You haven't really heard from him. He's only 6,800, but he's made the past 5 cuts in a row, and he's made the top 30 here the past 3 times. Chad Campbell, you're 6,800. You're my value. You're my Canadian dollar to the American dollar. You're my cheap little find. You're my shopping trip to Buffalo. That's right, Chad Campbell. You were on my list for 6,800. All right, now his 6th and final pick. How do you make your 6th and final pick? Is it the money you have left, or did you save it for someone really sweet? Edo?
Not quite shopping in Buffalo, shopping in Utica maybe. But I had 7,200 left. 100 too little for Johnny Vegas. I was so disappointed, and I didn't really want to. I was really a big fan of the rest of my lineup, so I didn't want to start. So I had to go Colt Nost, 7,100. Considering I spent 45 minutes going Nost or Vegas, and I went, okay, well, how much would Vegas be? Oh no, I can't afford him anyway. So what I like about Nost, and he's got 3 top 40 finishes here. No, 3 top 50s, excuse me. The thing is, this is his best season so far by a country mile. In other seasons, he'll have more or less as many cuts made as missed. This season, he's missed 2 cuts. You got 3rd place at Barracuda, 14th for RBC, really good at Honda, all of them Jack Nicklaus courses. The accuracy has been unerring. He's often in the sort of high 70% range. There are a few players out there who are like that. So if you can control things here, he's actually got a lot of top 5 finishes of late as well. So he's in with a shot. And what was rather shocking was to see him do really well at Players, because normally you thought, in fact, I believe that before the Players, I billed him as a small tournament guy, and then he went out and did really well at the Players. Yeah, and despite being not a huge hitter, he's 27th in holes per eagle, 76th in par 5s, that's a bit of a theme here, and 31st in putting. So I think he's got, I'm a big fan of Colt Nost.
He's got a pretty cool name, sounds like a cowboy or a porn star. But Jamie, your 6th pick, lay it on me, who do you got?
I had to go all the way to Dollarama for this one.
Uh-oh.
5,700. Andrew Landry.
What?
Who's Andrew Landry?
His librarian?
He is. He had the best ever opening round in a US Open held at Oakmont this year, which was a 66, and almost made the final group. Hasn't really done anything else apart from that, but he's only 5,700 and he's very good at putting, and he sits 2nd on the entire PGA Tour.
Wow.
5,700, I don't think you can go wrong, because it gives you so much money to spend elsewhere.
It does. You got some good value out of Andrew Landry.
Andrew Landry.
He sounds sort of boring
Quite
enough
hard
to
to
fit
say
into
as
Canada.
well.
Andrew Landry.
Yeah.
It would be really hard with a lisp or any sort of speech affectation. It's
is he
really hard
Southern?
if you have those.
I
Andrew Landry?
Andrew Landry.
did
It's
well at
hard.
the US Open, just remember that, and then you'll
Yeah.
pick him. And
Well, it's all about value. You got to choose value in terms of players, in terms of shoes. And for my 6th pick, I went for value. I went for the money I had left with this man. He's from Australia, Jason Day. 12,300. That's the money I had left. What are you going to do with the extra 12,300? Guy won it last year. What do I have to say about him? 7 top 10s, 81.2 fantasy points per game. You know, he is the second most expensive. And Canada is the second biggest, richest country in North America. There's a parity there. I haven't really worked it out, even though he's Australian. Look, I just want him to win. He won here last year. Take RBC's money. They've taken enough of someone else's. Let's recap everyone else's scores here. Let's take a look at Edo's here for a second. All right. Nice one. You've got Castro, Grillo, Kisner, Nost, Kuchar, and Swafford. And let's take a look at Jamie's. Cooch, Furyk, McGirt, Hadwin, Vegas, and Landry. And take a look at the winning lineup. Mine right here. Oh yeah, DeChambeau, Hearn, Kyung Tae Kim, Graham DeLay, Chad Campbell, and Jason Day. Oh my God, I can say that one so easily. Jason Day. How do you get involved? You go to DraftKings, DraftKings.co.uk or DraftKings.com if you're in America. Put together your own 6-man lineup, $50,000 budget for your golfers. It's the Canadian Open, eh? Oh, geez, grab me a double-double. Let's go. Let's put the Leafs on. We'll watch us some hockey. That's how we talk. Make fun of us. Welcome to the big time.